My video for August 26, 2018, which is video number 2827, is entitled The Problem with Seeking Retribution. It breaks my heart when I read about what's going on in South Africa, where blacks have taken the reins of the government and are evicting whites from land they have cultivated for generations. There is, of course, an old adage, two wrongs don't make a right. Indeed, at some point, we have to forgive and move on together, each doing our best to change the very thinking that divides us into us and them camps. Only in sports can competition be healthy, and at times, even that venue can create unhealthy action and reaction. The problem is always in the reaction that peace is lost, where there is no mutual respect. As I say that, I am reminded that we even need to respect the souls that have become enslaved by the phony game of life that pits us against each other. Can we learn to actually cooperate and build a world where we can all win? Is my dream of such a world merely wishful thinking? Is love unrealistic? If so, what have we learned, if anything at all? To me, the way it has been is obviously flawed. There are things for which we all need to repent, some more than others, and simply forgive. Love starts there. Actually, as I read those words, I want to add, love actually starts here with each one of us. It starts with me as I look at my own life and think of the things that I did that weren't exactly right. And I've tried throughout my life. I can think back also to experiences where I didn't do it right, and I repented, sometimes quickly, sometimes it took me a little more time than others, but I've tried to keep as clean a slate as possible. Have I done that perfectly? No. And I don't think any of us have done it perfectly. And as I said in the blurb, some have committed absolute atrocities with each other. And when I talk about what's going on in South Africa, that same mentality of now it's our turn to be the victimizers, that goes on all over the world. And it doesn't produce peace. It doesn't produce anything that is worthwhile. It only creates more distraction and more disharmony. And we can't build a world if we're going to compete with each other and try to take one-upmanship. That whole theory and that mindset is flawed. It is a demonic mindset, as I keep on saying. It is the fallen angels who aren't satisfied to be part of God. They want to be God. And that's the problem that we have permeating human experience. And the cultures on this earth have been bred in competition, unhealthy competition, and domination. The whole idea of slavery has to be uplifted so that we can see it, and then a conscious change of mind and say, that doesn't work. That's not going to help anybody in the long run. It's going to make us all victims of disoriented thinking, victims of an attitude that does not work for harmony and does not bring peace and is not loving and is neither kind nor something that we want to continue. We wouldn't want to teach our children that, but yet many do teach their children to hate others. And I think of the autistic children running a race. I remember watching a video, and I've probably seen it a number of times, where one of the contestants falls down, and the other contestants all stop and go back and help the one that fell. And together they go to the finish line, all becoming winners. That's a concept that is so hard for us to get, because when we create an attitude and an atmosphere of winners and losers, you create an imbalance and a disharmony that permeates our life experience for bad. On the negative side, it creates negativity. And negativity in balance with positivity creates harmony. So there has to be the positive and the negative. There has to be the experience of losing and winning. And they need to balance out. And that's the whole game, if you will, of life. It's about balance. It's about reaching an equilibrium, not domination. What does it take to get these ideas through our heads, and more especially into our hearts, so that our heart, which I think naturally, when I say the heart, I mean the essence of who we are. I don't mean the organ that pumps blood through our bodies. I mean the essence of who we are, the spirit of who we were at the very beginning. And I do believe that at the very beginning, we were love. But something happened to distort that picture. Something happened to dissuade us from being loving and put us into an unhealthy competition with each other that has gone on for millennia. We need to stop this, and we need the help of a creator who has omnipotence, who has omniscience, and who is willing to actually take the reins and say, enough, enough. If you're not going to repent, we're just going to have to put you into solitude for a while, or some kind of place where you can be by yourself and you can think things over and realize the idiocy and the insanity of trying to be superior to others so that you can control others for your benefit. That whole mentality has to end. And it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what label of group you put on it. There are many groups that have done terrible things. And even in this country, there are black rights groups that think that whites are responsible for all the problems of the world, and whites now need to suffer the punishment for all the wrongs that whites have committed over the course of generations. Well, that's not going to change anything, because if you keep that cycle going, it's going to keep producing war. It's going to keep producing unhealthy competition rather than healthy competition. Folks, what's it going to take for us to wake up? And what's it going to take for our Creator to actually put an end to all the nonsense that has been going on far, far longer than I would like to see, or that I believe that any thinking person, any compassionate person would like to see? Yes, we do need to own what we've done that has hurt others. We do need to do our best to make recompense when and however we can. But at the same time, we need to be able to rise up so that we can move on. And it's not rising up by pushing someone else down. It's rising up and helping the one next to us to rise up as well. And then we can all go further and higher than we've ever been able to go before in human history. Isn't that something worth looking at, thinking about, and even more importantly, feeling from the deepest part of our soul, of our being? Thank you for listening, and namaste.